Miracle, the #1 habit that protects your kidneys and boosts function naturally. Here's something most doctors won't tell you in a 15-minute appointment. Protecting your kidneys has very little to do with expensive supplements or complicated diets, and almost everything to do with a handful of daily habits most people never think twice about. Kidney disease is often called a silent condition because it can quietly progress for years, sometimes decades, before a single symptom ever shows up. By the time fatigue, swelling, or foggy thinking appear, real damage may have already been done. That's exactly why habits matter more than any single food or supplement ever could. Because habits are what you repeat every single day, and every single day either protects your kidneys a little more or quietly wears them down. In this video, we're counting down 5 research-backed habits that genuinely protect kidney function, especially for adults over 60 living in the United States, where kidney disease affects millions and often goes undiagnosed until it has already progressed. These aren't obscure biohacks or expensive interventions. They're everyday choices, the kind most people walk right past without realizing just how much protective power they carry. Number 1 isn't flashy, it isn't trendy, but it may be the single most protective thing you can do for your kidneys starting today. Let's count it down. Habit 5. Staying properly hydrated, the right way. Hydration sounds almost too simple to matter, but for your kidneys, it's foundational. Your kidneys filter roughly enough blood daily to fill several bathtubs, and they rely on adequate fluid to flush out waste products, toxins, and metabolic byproducts efficiently. When you're chronically underhydrated, waste products become more concentrated in the blood, forcing your kidneys to work harder just to keep up, and over years, that extra strain adds up. Proper hydration also helps prevent the formation of kidney stones, one of the most common and painful kidney complications among adults over 50, especially in warmer climates across the southern United States, where fluid loss through sweat is higher. But here's the nuance most people miss. Hydration isn't just about drinking more, it's about drinking consistently and appropriately for your individual kidney function. For someone in later stages of chronic kidney disease, fluid needs may actually need to be moderated rather than increased, which is why this is a habit best fine-tuned with a doctor rather than guessed at. For most adults with healthy or early-stage kidney function, spreading water intake evenly throughout the day, rather than drinking large amounts all at once, supports steadier kidney workload and better blood pressure control, another major factor in long-term kidney protection. Herbal teas, water-rich fruits, and clear soups can all contribute to daily hydration goals without feeling like a chore. I think of Frank, 70, who admitted he often went most of the morning without drinking anything at all, then tried to catch up in the evening. His doctor pointed out that this pattern was likely contributing to his recurring mild dehydration and occasional kidney stone scares. Once Frank started keeping a water bottle visible on his kitchen counter and sipping steadily from morning onward, his energy improved and his stone episodes stopped entirely. Something as simple as visibility and routine made all the difference. And it's a reminder that protecting your kidneys often has less to do with willpower and more to do with designing your environment to make the healthy choice the easy choice. Urine color remains one of the simplest at-home indicators of hydration status. Pale yellow generally signals adequate fluid intake, while consistently dark urine can be an early sign that your kidneys are working harder than they should have to. Staying hydrated the right way isn't glamorous, but it's one of the most consistent, evidence-backed habits for protecting kidney function over a lifetime. And unlike many health habits, it costs nothing and requires no special equipment, just a little intention built into your daily rhythm. Habit #4. Cutting back on hidden sodium. Most Americans consume far more sodium than they realize, not from the salt shaker, but from processed foods, canned soups, deli meats, and restaurant meals, and your kidneys feel every bit of it. Sodium directly affects blood pressure, and blood pressure is one of the single biggest factors in how quickly kidney function declines over time. When sodium intake is high, the body retains more fluid to balance it, which raises blood pressure inside the tiny filtering units of your kidneys, called nephrons, gradually damaging them over months and years of repeated strain. This is especially important for adults over 60, since kidney function naturally declines with age even without disease present, meaning there's less reserve capacity to absorb the extra stress that high-sodium diets create. Cutting back on sodium doesn't mean eating bland food. It means becoming aware of where sodium actually hides. Canned vegetables, bread, cheese, and packaged sauces often contain more sodium than people expect, even when they don't taste particularly salty. Reading nutrition labels and choosing low sodium or no salt added versions can dramatically reduce daily intake without sacrificing flavor, especially when herbs, garlic, lemon, and pepper are used to fill the flavor gap instead. There's a protective ripple effect here too. Lower sodium intake supports healthier blood vessels throughout the entire body, which means better blood flow not just to the kidneys, but to the heart and brain as well. I remember Susan, 66, who was shocked to learn her healthy habit of eating canned soup for lunch every day was quietly pushing her sodium intake far above recommended levels. After switching to homemade, herb-seasoned soups using low-sodium broth, her blood pressure readings improved within just a few weeks, and her doctor noted the change directly on her chart. The American Heart Association and most kidney health organizations recommend most adults aim to keep daily sodium intake well below what the average American currently consumes. And simply cooking more meals at home, where you control every ingredient, remains one of the most reliable ways to close that gap. Sodium reduction is one of those habits that feels small on any single day, but compounds into major kidney protection over months and years of consistent choices. And the beautiful part is that taste buds genuinely adjust over time. So food that once tasted bland without added salt eventually starts tasting perfectly satisfying on its own. Habit/COG 3. Being mindful of over-the-counter pain relievers. This is a habit almost nobody thinks connects to kidney health, but the evidence is clear, and it matters enormously for older adults. Regular long-term use of certain over-the-counter pain relievers, particularly a class of medications called NSAIDs, has been linked to reduced kidney blood flow and, over time, measurable kidney damage, especially in people who already have reduced kidney function or existing risk factors like diabetes or high blood pressure. The tricky part is that these medications are so common and so easily accessible that most people never think of them as something requiring caution. They simply reach for the bottle whenever a headache or joint ache strikes. For occasional short-term use, this typically isn't a major concern for most healthy adults, but the habit of relying on them regularly, week after week, month after month, is where the real risk builds quietly in the background. This is particularly important for adults managing chronic pain from arthritis, a common companion of aging, because the temptation to reach for daily pain relief is understandable, but it deserves an honest conversation with a doctor about safer alternatives. Acetaminophen is generally considered gentler on the kidneys when used appropriately and at recommended doses, making it a preferred option for many older adults, though it still requires mindful use and shouldn't be considered entirely risk-free either. Non-medication approaches like gentle movement, warm compresses, and physical therapy can also reduce reliance on daily pain relievers while protecting kidney function long-term. I recall a patient named Walter, 74, who had been taking an NSAID nearly every day for years to manage knee pain without ever realizing the connection to his declining kidney labs. Once his doctor helped him transition to a combination of physical therapy and safer pain management, his kidney function actually stabilized over the following months, something his doctor called one of the clearest examples she'd seen of a simple habit change, directly reversing a worrying trend on paper. It's a habit adjustment few people ever think to make, and that's exactly why it deserves your attention today. A quick conversation with your doctor about which pain relief options are safest for your specific kidney function could quietly protect years of filtering capacity down the road. Habit/2. Actively managing blood sugar. If there's one condition most closely tied to kidney damage across the United States, it's uncontrolled blood sugar. Diabetes remains the leading cause of chronic kidney disease in American adults, and the connection comes down to how high blood sugar affects the tiny blood vessels inside the kidneys responsible for filtering waste. Over time, elevated glucose levels can damage these delicate vessels, a condition known as diabetic nephropathy, gradually reducing the kidney's ability to filter blood effectively. The encouraging part of this story is that blood sugar is one of the most controllable risk factors on this entire list, and even modest improvements can make a meaningful difference in long-term kidney protection. This doesn't require perfection, it requires consistency. Things like choosing fiber-rich foods that slow sugar absorption, spacing meals evenly throughout the day rather than large, infrequent meals, and incorporating gentle daily movement, which helps muscles use glucose more efficiently and reduces the burden placed on blood vessels throughout the body, including those inside the kidneys. Regular monitoring matters too. Many adults over 60 don't realize their blood sugar has crept upward until a routine lab test reveals it, which is why annual checkups become increasingly important with age, even for people who feel perfectly fine. I think of Linda, 68, whose blood sugar had been slightly elevated for years without her fully addressing it, until her kidney function tests began showing early changes. With her doctor's guidance, she made gradual adjustments, smaller portions, more vegetables, short walks after meals, and within a year, her blood sugar control had measurably improved, along with her kidney markers. Her story reflects a pattern doctors see often. The earlier blood sugar is brought under control, the more kidney function can be preserved, which is exactly why annual screening matters, even when everything feels fine on the surface. Managing blood sugar isn't just about preventing diabetes complications broadly. It's one of the most direct, evidence-based ways to protect the delicate filtering system inside your kidneys for years to come. And the habit compounds, every stable, well-managed day adds up to real protection over a lifetime. Habit #1, keeping blood pressure under control. Here it is, the habit that quietly outranks nearly everything else when it comes to protecting kidney function, and it's one many people underestimate simply because high blood pressure so often causes zero noticeable symptoms. Your kidneys contain millions of tiny blood vessels, responsible for filtering waste from your blood every single day, and these vessels are remarkably sensitive to pressure. When blood pressure stays elevated over months and years, it gradually damages these delicate filtering units, reducing kidney function slowly and silently, which is precisely why high blood pressure is considered one of the top 2 causes of chronic kidney disease in American adults, right alongside diabetes. The encouraging truth is that blood pressure is highly responsive to consistent, everyday habits. Regular physical activity, even something as simple as a daily 20 to 30-minute walk, has been shown to meaningfully support healthier blood pressure levels over time. Reducing sodium, as we discussed earlier, works hand in hand with this habit, since the two are deeply interconnected inside the body's fluid balance system. Managing stress also plays a genuine role. Chronic stress triggers hormonal responses that can elevate blood pressure over time, meaning that habits like deep breathing, adequate sleep, and simply making time to unwind aren't just good for your mood, they're protective for your kidneys too. Perhaps most importantly, this is a habit that requires monitoring, not guessing. Checking blood pressure regularly, whether at home with an affordable monitor or during routine doctor visits, allows problems to be caught and addressed long before kidney damage has a chance to take hold. I think of George, 72, whose blood pressure had quietly crept upward over several years without him noticing any symptoms at all, until a routine visit revealed early signs of reduced kidney function. With consistent monitoring, daily walks, and dietary adjustments, George brought his blood pressure back into a healthier range within months, and follow-up testing showed his kidney function had stabilized. His nephrologist told him plainly that if more patients treated blood pressure control with the same seriousness they treat other health metrics, far fewer people would ever progress to advanced kidney disease in the first place. Of every habit on this list, controlling blood pressure offers the clearest, most consistently supported protection for long-term kidney health, which is exactly why it earns the top spot today, the true miracle habit, hiding in plain sight all along. So there you have it. 5 habits working quietly behind the scenes to protect one of your body's most important organs. Staying properly hydrated, cutting back on hidden sodium, being mindful of over-the-counter pain relievers, actively managing blood sugar, and above all, keeping blood pressure under control. None of these require dramatic overnight changes. They simply require consistency, the same kind of consistency that, left unchecked in the wrong direction, is exactly what causes kidney damage to build in the first place. If you're managing CKD or any related condition, always work with your doctor before making significant changes, since individual needs can vary significantly. So here's our question for you. Which of these 5 habits are you going to start improving this week? Your hydration, your blood pressure, or something else entirely? Drop your answer in the comments below, and if someone in your life needs to hear this today, share this video with them. It might be exactly the nudge they need. Real kidney protection is rarely built in a single dramatic moment. It's built quietly, one small daily choice repeated over and over. until those choices become who you are. Thank you for watching. Stay mindful, stay consistent, and we'll see you in the next one.